Mr. Rick, how would you like to introduce us this evening?
Well, howdy, world. How's everybody doing out there?
Cut the stream. We're gonna redo that one.
What?
Well, I got this medical problem, but I don't think we should discuss it here.
Rough.
All right. It's all you, buddy. We're live.
Oh, okay. Well, would you like to introduce us?
I'm still hitting buttons over here.
Hey,
Oh.
hey, everybody! Welcome to Tabletop Nerdcast, where we're definitely 100% ready for our stream that's 45 minutes late. We hope that you've enjoyed yourself so far. We're here for Piercing the Crystal Veil, our Dungeons and Dragons actual play. If you want to see more of our content, we're live every day on Twitch and YouTube, and at least twice a week now on Facebook Live. So head on over to our Facebook, Tabletop Nerdcast. Tabletop is one word, Nerdcast is one word. And give us a like so you can see all of our awesome video game stuff throughout the week, as well as other RPG streams. We do D&D, we do Star Wars, we do 7th Sea. We do just about everything that we can get our hands on. We'd love to see you there.
And cookies.
And cookies.
And cookies.
No
Well,
cupcakes?
I've seen a lot of information about cookies online today. Is that what you're talking about? Is that?
No.
Did I not get cookies? Because I keep getting
Hey.
these buttons asking if I want cookies.
They
And I
ask
keep
if
Percy,
they
saying
want
no.
them.
Percy, that is because of the website you're visiting. we need you to stop. This is an intervention.
Oh, is that what it is? Is
This-
Nevi's intervention?
This is Nevi's intervention.
All right, so last time on Piercing the Crystal Veil, Rick, take it away.
Well, howdy, everybody. Last time on Piercing the Crystal Veil, the party had to go back to the Necromancer's Crypt to recover some crystal dust because Centaur, the ancient
Just call it
elven
what it is,
wizard,
man.
he wanted to find out where the necromancer disappeared to, and he felt that he could do that if he had some of the crystal dust that the necromancer had used to escape. He broke a crystal and poof, he was gone. Or actually, I guess he kind of got eaten, is the way it was sort of described. He slowly disappeared.
We call it the
But-
Big Suck.
Yes. So they went and they actually went through some of the traps. There were some tieflings there again. They had to encounter and take out, and then they sprang some traps that they didn't have to go through before. And one of them drained their life. So most of the party now is actually down permanent hit points. That'll be interesting.
Everybody
And
except Morale, because she wasn't here.
that's because she didn't go in the chamber. We thought about sending her in first, but you know, she's a cat. She knows better. But we figured she had 9 lives, so she could take it better than everybody else. But
Totally would have served me right for not being
Yeah.
here.
isn't that the way it always goes in D&D? When you get up to go to the refrigerator, that's when your character dies.
Yep.
That's right.
So anyway, they managed to make it through. They recovered the crystal dust and are now in the process of returning to Centaur's Keep. And we will take it from there. So y'all are traveling through the hills. It's kind of like rolling hills in the area. And you're on your way, and you see in the distance the blue tower rising up from the plain. And it's, a small little tower. It shines azure blue. It's very beautiful. You've seen it before. And there's a moat around it. And as you're approaching, last time you seem to remember that it was rather hard to get in, that you had to really get the wizard's attention. But this time, as you're approaching and you see the tower, all of a sudden you see the little iris door open up at the base, and the crystal bridge starts extending across the moat.
Okay. Seems
And-
promising.
And yeah, so you are now at the edge of the moat.
Well, this seems much easier than it was the last time. I say let's go inside.
Absolutely. Rao doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah. You can still yell if you'd like to.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll lead the charge. I'll walk in.
Okay, so y'all walk across the crystal and you enter the chamber that you were in before, which was much larger on the inside than it is on the outside. Crystal chamber with, very nice, crystal couch, and when you sit in the couch, you notice it contours to your body, even though it's crystal. And they're blue crystal walls. And a moment later, a yellow shard mine comes walking right through the walls. Greetings. It is
What was
good of
his
you to
name
be
again?
Back. Baccarat. Make sure that's his name. Zacharet.
Zacharat.
Zacharet. Greetings. It's good of you to return. The master is expecting you.
Well, then let's get on with it. We got the stuff he wanted.
That will be good to hear. Right this way. And he walks into the wall again, and then a door opens up in the wall, and there's steps leading up that are circular and wrap around what you think is the outside of the tower, but at this point you really have no clue because everything's not what it appears to be on the inside as it is on the outside.
Bigger on the inside.
Much bigger. So y'all walk up the stairs. As you're getting up the stairs, you hear laughter coming from the top of the stairs. There's a woman's voice that seems familiar, and you hear the elf wizard, and they're conversing and laughing, and you come into the room, and
Is it Sentry?
Huh?
Is it Sentry?
You mean Census, the gardener?
Census, yeah, that one.
It actually is.
Okay, cool.
And they're sitting there sharing a glass of wine that's very sparkly, and she looks up to you, and, wow, look who's here. Oh, yeah. It's so good that you got back. Did you get everything? Did you get what I needed? Did you get it?
You got it.
We got some of that black crystal dust.
Oh, good.
The good stuff.
Oh, good. Let me see it.
Cade goes through and pulls it out of his pouch, and he's like sprinkling it down into one hand from the other.
Whoa. Actually, you put it in a little crystal snuff box.
Well, I did, but that's not what he's doing with it.
Oh. No. I need that. Don't stop him. Someone stop him.
Hey,
Nobody can stop him.
Little guy.
I'm just gonna reach over and just kind of grab one of his hands. Let's maybe not. We kind of need that.
Yeah. I need that. I don't know how much I'll need. I may need all of it. I may not need all of it. But please.
So he scoops as much as he can back into the little vial, caps it off, and goes right in front of him.
Well, okay. All right, thank you. So he turns around and he walks over to a table. And you can see on the table there's a strange apparatus that almost looks like it's a candle holder, a triangular candle holder, and there's 3 spots to put what would normally be candles, but he's got crystals in them. And one's yellow and one is blue. And then he starts rummaging around in a box. He sets the little crystal snuff box on the table, and he starts rummaging around in a box, and he pulls out a third one, and it's an orange, and then it's a black crystal. And he says, "Oh, this should do. And he sets that in the third one. Then he takes the box and he sets it right in the center of him on a little bitty pedestal, and he reaches in and he pulls out an orange, what looks like a tuning fork. And he wraps the tuning fork on the table, and he holds it up, and he starts pushing it into the center. And as soon as he wraps it, you can see all the crystals begin to vibrate slightly. And there's almost like a shimmering occurring in the center of all these crystals. And as he pushes the crystal tuning fork closer into it, the shimmering gets brighter and brighter. And you hear this faint resonance starts emanating from it. And it reflects into the box, and the crystals are glowing, and energy all of a sudden starts pouring into the box, and it's filling it with this faint black aura. And then the crystals in the box begin to swirl, almost like a little tornado, rising up and forming and shaping. And then he reaches over and he grabs a small crystalline stick, pulls it out of a pouch, and it's a purple crystal is attached to its head. So it's like a little wand. And he takes and he sticks this crystal right into the center of these swirling crystals. And it's almost like a magnet. These crystals start slowly coalescing around the head, and they start bonding to it, and they get tighter and tighter, and then it becomes one. And pretty soon it looks like he's holding a purplish black crystal. And he turns around and he looks back at Census and he smiles and he pulls it out and he says, I haven't lost my touch. See what I got? See? Oh boy, this is going to work. Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. Oh, and so you remember that one of the walls in his crystal chamber had a scene of a mountain range in the distance?
Oh.
And you can see that scene, and you can see there's an eagle soaring around up above the mountains. And when you look at it, it's like a video. I mean, it's like you're watching it live, but you know there's no mountains like this outside of his window. So he takes and he moves over to the wall, and he starts moving this little crystal wand, and it's leaving a trail, a little sparkling trail behind it. And he starts writing glyphs in the air. And each glyph kind of hangs in the air, and it shimmers. And he keeps drawing until he draws a whole circle of glyphs. And then they start vibrating slightly. And then he blows on them, and they start slowly going towards the wall. And as they strike the wall, the scene starts to slowly change. And it starts changing from mountains, and you can see patches of green. And pretty soon the patches of green start coming more to the fore, and the mountains start to recede. And in a minute, you can see that it's a forest sort of just comes into view right before your eyes. And it's a massive forest. And you can see that there's a mountain range behind it. And there's one of the mountains has a really thin band of iridescent blue running down it. And he steps closer to it, and he's tapping his chin, and he's staring at the wand, and he's looking at the scene. He says, I think I know. I think I know. Census, I think I know. And she just kind of like shrugs her shoulders, and he runs over to a bookshelf, and he starts thumbing through the books, and he pulls out, looks like a very old book. It's made of red leather, and it's covered in orange crystal glyphs. And it's got copper bands on it. And he sets it down on his desk, and he looks down at it, and you can see that the little crystal in his forehead glows a little bit, and the book springs open. And he starts flipping through. And you can see that there's, it's a lot of writing of a language you are not familiar with. If anybody has comprehend languages, they're welcome to, try something like that. And he looks at it, he says, okay, yeah. Okay, this makes sense. It's all starting to make sense. The crypt, the census, that stuff that you've been seeing. She's been watching. There's been activities going on in the Bacaline forest, and everything I'm seeing that's the Bacaline forest. Now, this crystal isn't going to tell me exactly where it is, but it's going to give me a real strong hint. And this book catalogs some of the ancient Valar crystal chambers, the ones that were cataloged because they were dangerous. And from what I'm seeing, there's what was a nexus point in the Bacaline forest, and I think that's what it's all about. I think that's what it's all about. Yeah, the Kangan Toss were supposed to secure all these things, but I think this one's been abandoned for a long time. So I think you need to go to the Bacaline forest. I think that's where you need to go. He would have needed something very powerful. If he's trying to get back into that nexus point and reopen it, he would have needed something very, very powerful. And that might be why he went into that crypt, because the rod of Black Marrow was buried in that crypt with the necromancer that wielded it. And I think that's what he took. Do you remember any more details about that?
There was a rod involved, certainly.
Yeah, and it had a crystal at the end of it, I believe.
Isn't this the drawing that Cade did? Just question. Isn't this the drawing that Cade did a while back in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. Actually,
Okay.
When he's sitting there, yes.
He's going to be fumbling through his pouch and pull the drawing back out. Just this one?
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes you surprise me, little man. Okay, yeah. So, if he needs something powerful, that may do it. That might do it. That's not good. That is not good. These things I keep telling these people, and he's looking at Census. I keep telling these people, they need to pay attention. You can't just abandon these things. You know, there was a reason we fought that war. There was a reason there was all the catastrophe that happened. It's because of these chambers and these things like this. And that's why the king and dogs were formed. And that's why all the writs and the laws were passed about crystals. Why don't they listen to me? Well, because you haven't spoken to them in hundreds of years. But what?
I have a few questions.
Yes. What do you need to know?
Question one, perhaps this is the most important. Generally, where we're from, if an evil individual has used some sort of artifact of massive power to subjugate and or destroy many things, unless that artifact is lost, it is destroyed before said villain is buried. Why was this rod not destroyed?
Because we did not know where the crypt was. We did not know.
It was a big gaping door in a hill. What do you mean you didn't know where it was?
Really? There was a big gaping door in there? Yeah? What do you mean?
Cade looks over at Sensi and goes, she knew. She sent us there.
I mean, we literally just walked and saw it.
But if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, they uncovered that door.
That might be true, but how did somebody put a tomb there without anybody ever seeing them do it?
It's a good question. It was many, many, many centuries ago.
Fair enough. Okay. Next question. What's a nexus point?
Well, what's a nexus point? Well, it takes 3 nexus points to open up a portal to other planes. Some nexus points, a lot of crystal chambers can teleport you pretty well anywhere in Melanor and anywhere on Missandriel, but a nexus point can cross planes. It can bring things from other planes in, and that's where the problems was with the gods and the devils and everything else. They were coming in from other planes. So
Cade's tugging at Nevi. Do you know what he's talking about?
I have a suspicion that someone has already used 3 of these nexus points.
Why? Whoa! What makes you say that?
Because I'm here, you idiot.
Oh yeah,
We're
no.
not from here. We're from a different plane.
That is some. Melanor's been in flux for 1,000 years.
He's been
and
what?
It's been it drifts around and it makes contact with other places. This is not the first time that we've made contact with another plane. It's happened 3 times, and none of them have been stable, like this one seems to be. That's new. That is very new, and that's what you came through.
Okay.
So maybe this is our permanent home now. We don't know. We don't know. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. And I would really like to study some of your blood. Is it possible that you could share some of your blood with me? Because I'd really like to study some of your blood.
I've got plenty of it. They only took 4 of my hit points on
It's
my
not
journey.
blood. Oh, they took 4 of your hit points?
Yeah,
We kind of feel generally weaker right now.
we're not doing the greatest.
What do you mean? I mean,
Something hit us. When we were in that tomb, we were fighting some kind of...
We got kicked by our own butts.
We did.
But our own ghostly butts.
Our own butts kicked us.
Yeah, we kicked our own butts, but our ghost
and then we did kick our butts in return
and
for
then
the
we
butts
kicked
kicking
our ghosts.
us.
Yeah, so it was just a lot of us kicking each other's butts, and it was
just-
really confusing.
Cade is really just sitting down, entertained at this moment.
Whoever just joined in chat is like, what the hell is this?
I don't.
Basically, we went in a hallway, and these ghostly doppelgangers
Yes.
came out, and
when they
were
struck
us.
us, we kind of lost some vitality.
yeah, kind of felt like some got sucked out when they hit us.
I don't know. I don't know. Sensi, do you have any idea? She says, no, I'm not familiar with.
It was very
anything
necrotic
like
in
that.
nature.
I see.
Not
Where did
great.
these ghostly things come from?
The wall.
The walls.
The walls.
Some kind of a mirror that showed us a ghastly, zombified version of ourselves.
Yeah, they were like really crystally, right?
Very
Really
interesting.
shiny and crystally.
And she walks over to you, Pan, and she places her hand on your forehead. And she basically closes her eyes and she's mumbling something, and she's like,
Ew.
"You have lost life force."
That is
And-
how we described it, though not in those terms.
And she,
Yeah.
who has lost life force?
Pretty much all of us except for Morale.
Yes.
Oh, very wise of you, Morale.
This is what happens when you're late to the party.
Oh, usually I thought you died when you were late to the party, but
I'm sure you tried.
What kind of parties are you going to?
I'm sure that, but I don't know that you have time to go back to the heart.
Not presently, because we've got to go to Backlog Forest.
Baccaline
Baccaline.
Forest. The Baccaline
Yep.
Forest.
Okay, so
I don't know where
another,
Backlog Forest is. They do
another
log the
question.
Baccaline Forest, though.
It's the
There are
Bassett
loggers
Tracing
down
Forest.
another question I do have is, who are the Kingan Toss?
Oh, did I say that?
You
Oh,
did.
they're just some sort of authority people that, you know, yeah, that they're nothing to concern yourself with.
Just
It's-
some
oh,
sort
wait,
of
hold on.
authority?
Are they people we're gonna likely run into and have
Should-
to
Yeah, are we gonna have to obey
explain
their
ourselves
authority?
And Sensei goes, Pan, I have a gift that was left at the heart for you.
Oh, okay.
And she turns over, and you can see sitting on the chair is, as she's reaching for it, is a folded up blanket.
Mhm.
And you can recognize from it that there's a horse motif on it, with hills and things like that. And she reaches down and she picks it up, and she says, "This is a very special gift. Paul brought it to the heart, and he said it was for you.
Oh,
And I will just tell you this: it is a great, great honor. I'm told this is from the Moon Climber clan. And here you go." And she sets it on the desk, and she steps back, and she says, "Open it up."
okay. So I go to open it up. Oh,
Okay, and as you unfold it, you recognize it's a Bargazer blanket,
mhm.
and you open it up, and inside you see a large piece of greenish gray leather, and it's got a really beautiful sheen to it. I mean, the material is just exquisite, and there's golden glyphs that are very subtle covering this piece of leather. And Sensei says, "Take it."
Okay. It's beautiful. Huh.
Okay. And so you pick it up, and it unfolds, and it's very supple, and it looks like leather armor.
Oh,
And she tells you, this is a great honor. This is made from the hide of a Dengan pony. As you
Ooh.
know, when a horse...
Are you sure it's not a pony's dangan? Sorry, had to do it.
This is not a foreskin. No. Is that what you're trying to imply? But if you rub on it, it does expand. So
Done. Out. Muting.
gotta go.
It was
turns
funny enough that you were just like giving this to her to answer the problem of Rick hits you every time he doesn't even roll dice.
As you know, when a horse passes on, an extraordinary horse passes on in a clan, that they have a huge feast in its honor, and
Yes.
they consume the horse.
Of course.
Of course.
Well,
And-
it sounds weird, but it's not. It's a traditional
You've
thing.
got to use the whole animal, you know?
It's sort of the horses to us Bargazers are very sacred, and to the Bargazares, eating the horse is an honor for very revered horses. It sort of completes.
See, it's an honor to the horse.
No. We don't kill them. It's just when they've reached the end of their natural life cycle. It's a way of distributing the horse's strength, I suppose, to the rest of the tribe. It sort of completes this. We have a very strong bond with these horses. It's not just oh, let's just go hunt. Oh, we need food. Let's go eat our horses. No, it's it's a very important thing to them.
Sure. I don't mean to laugh so much. That was more out of character than in.
It is a great honor for the horse. But the Dengan pony is not just a horse. It's a very, very special. You have seen a Dengan pony. Yes. There's something about that you.
He's looking over at my picture because I'm like, I see him going too.
I don't know how many people have encountered the Dengan pony in this campaign, and no one has taken it where you two have taken it to.
Childish. Got it.
I'm taking it nowhere. Okay. I'm just in a good mood.
Very good.
I'm not the one that said if you rub it, it'll expand.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
did.
Well,
you did take us there.
I had to put the cherry on the top. So
it's not how far you go; it's how you go that far.
That is somewhat true. But no non-Bargazaire has ever been awarded the honor of a Dengasu, which is the term used for this armor. It has special properties to it that should help you. They're one of the seers in the clan. We don't really know. We don't really know exactly how it all, came about, but we know that Mama Tas, said that this is what we should do. And so we know you're starting on this journey, or I should say they knew you were starting on this journey, and so they awarded you this. So please treat it with a reverence in which it's due. And hopefully it will save your life.
Of course. I am extremely honored, and if you do see, if Cole does come back, please relay my thanks to both him and Mama Toss.
I certainly will. They will be pleased. So wear it well.
Absolutely, I will.
So, yes, okay. And you look over and you can see Centiforce kind of bouncing up and down like this in his chair. And he's just like bursted. He wants to say something. And Sensi looks at him and says, yes, Centifor, what is it? He says, I want to see the cat. And he looks at you, Morale. Can I see your cat, please?
That's very forward of you.
Seriously.
While this is going on, Cade's looking over at Nevi, and he's kind of tugging on Nevi's tunic or whatever, and he's like, did he just change the topic from the guys that he's not wanting to tell us about?
Yeah, don't worry. I'm circling back around as soon as I get his.
Okay, cool.
Your cat. I must see your cat. I won't hurt it. I have some theories about it. I've been doing some research. I think Yes. May I?
With your eyes and not with your hands?
I need to touch it and I need to study it for a moment. It will. I could maybe answer some questions for you. I don't know. But wouldn't you like to know what it is? Because it's not just a crystal cat. I think there's more to it.
Are you gonna hurt it?
No. I won't hurt it. I promise. I won't hurt it.
That's what he said.
Okay.
That's a no moment for that. So sorry. You guys were wondering earlier, when would you say that? That's a... So sorry.
I'm so glad.
I'm so glad you said it. Finally, we get some respect around here, you know?
Gosh. I don't know that I would call that respect.
Maybe that's true.
I'm pretty sure we just got shitted on.
Leveling out the playing field a little bit. Gotta.
Okay, I reluctantly give him my crystal cat.
Because Sensi says she detected life in this cat, and you say that you've seen it come alive, that it's actually come alive. Yes. Oh gosh. And he goes over to the table and he sets it down on one of those very gently on one of the crystal tables, and he pulls out these glasses that are just like about that thick with all these little different lenses, and there's different crystals in each of the lenses, and he's flipping them back and forth, and he's looking around it, and he's flipping back, and he's looking back, and he's like, Sensi, do you still detect the life in it? Do you detect the life in it? Because I'm seeing an aura. I definitely see an aura, and it's old. This is old. This is very, 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 very old. So, yeah. And he pulls out a crystal tuning fork, and he sets it down, and he looks at it close, and he sets it back in the box, and he pulls out another one, and he starts looking at it close, and he's like, and he taps it on the cat, and he sets it on the table, and it stands straight up, and it starts vibrating, and it starts putting out a little hum. And
Do I sense any distress from my cat?
no, not at the moment.
Okay.
And the pitch starts rising, and then pretty soon it becomes a little painful because it's getting such high pitch, and then it exceeds your hearing. And then all of a
Thank
sudden you
goodness
see,
that's over.
then all of a sudden you see your cat starting to kind of move and stretch out. And all of a sudden you see that it starts to kind of distort slightly. The image is distorting and becoming fuzzy. And then a ghostly image starts to be pulled out of the cat, and you see what looks like a Tabaxi's face, but there's a look of terror and pain on the face.
Stop
And
it! You're hurting her.
And Sensi walks over, and she knocks over the tuning fork, and all of a sudden it snaps back. I'm sorry. I didn't expect that to happen. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. But it did answer the question. It did. I think I know what it is. I think I know what this is. Have you ever heard of the gland spa?
No.
Yeah, I guess that's a stupid question. You know where you're from is Brand Spa, right? Wait, you're not from here though. You're from because there's no Grenlats still around, other than you. Anyway. What?
Not a Grinlat.
Well, I'll tell you in a second. But anyway, the Brandspar were crystal smiths, and they made the finest crystals in Brandspar, which is where the Grenlat came from, and you're called
Tabaxi.
Tabaxi. Okay, where the Tabaxi came from, and their land, and they made fantastic. Their crystals were shipped all over, but the problem with their crystals was they degraded. It was a crystal was malleable and they could work with, but it would degrade over time. So there's almost none of their statues they're left, and they made the culmination of the work was known as a galas, and some people believe that they could be made to alive, and that's what I was trying to find out, and that's a life. That's a life in there, but that's not like anything I've seen. But I think because what I've seen is this was made out of a curate heart, which I didn't know you could do. I'd never heard of such a thing, but this is made out of a curate heart, and there's a life inside of it. But it's a life that I believe was put into it. It's not alive it's like they put a life into it, and I think it's a Grenlac. I think that they put a Grenlac inside of it. So I don't know. I don't know. The Grenlac have been extinct, or no one's been able to get into Brandspar for 1,000 years since the war, since it was cut off, since it was gone, and all the Grenlacs are gone. Well, except you showed up, but you're a Tabaxi.
Is that Brandspar with a B?
Yes, Brandspar. Yes, just like it sounds. Breaunnnaxspeeaur. Just like it sounds.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna spell it more phonetically.
Yeah, I heard G. I heard Glen Spar. So
But you know, I'm sorry that I didn't mean to hurt. I really didn't mean to hurt your cat. I didn't know that it would do that. I'm sorry. I don't think I heard it. I'm
Just
pretty sure I
don't do
didn't hurt it.
again.
I won't. And he hands it back to you, and he says, you know, I'd love to study it more, but you know, perhaps another time, perhaps maybe if you pass them back through, and I'll have more time to research to know what to do and not to do, because I knew that would work, but I didn't know the consequences of it, and I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to
can I
hurt
feel
you.
if it's distressed or anything?
You can't tell anything. You did feel a moment in your mind of the pain of feeling like being ripped apart. Okay, but now you don't feel anything. It just feels pretty normal. But it's quite a treasure you have there. I would definitely take care of that, and I would keep that under wraps, because I don't know, you know, there are laws here about crystals, and I don't know that any of them particularly cover that, but sometimes the authorities will take things, they'll read into things that they think maybe they shouldn't, you know, and make up the rules as they go along, which they are pretty good about not doing. But something like that, as valuable as that is, that's incredibly rare.
And are those authorities the King and Toss?
Excuse me, Morale, what did you say?
I don't, as a habit, take it out of my pocket.
Okay, yeah. That's probably a good idea. But keep in mind that there's ways that people have of detecting crystals and things like that. And you know, and Census, did you pick up anything? Did you pick up anything from that? The life, or did you feel anything? No. I felt great distress. And it's definitely a life. And it's an ancient life. But I felt it's a good spirit that is inside that, what did you call it? A galas? So I would leave it be and let it find its own path. Okay? I know sometimes, Centaur, you take your studies a little too far, and you forget to see the forest for the trees. But speaking of the forest for the trees, we have things we need to do, and we need to.
Yeah, what would we be if we were to go? And again, like, once again, you're asking us to kind of take care of a problem that seems solely related to your world, and we are all four from somewhere else. So this would be a huge favor. But what would we be looking for to spot this nexus point? Because I'm assuming you don't have a map.
No, but I do. I can give you pretty precise directions on how to find it.
Excellent. That's what we do.
If you take the South Road, and you'll probably take the South Road, and you'll go through Destern, which is a logging community. It's not important on the way, and then take the old road that heads towards Renamore, and along that old road, it'll run along the Broccoline Forest. You'll find a mountain, and you see, and he points to the mountain. You see that image right there? That's what you're looking for.
The mountain is the nexus point?
No. But at the base of the mountain, there's an ancient keep that the Valar used and built up against the walls of this mountain. And for a long time, it was guarded. There was a garrison there. You know, like so many of these things, they just forget about them. You know, they don't pay attention. They should, but they don't pay attention. And things that should not be forgotten are forgotten. And the next thing you know, they come up and they bite you. And anyway, so due north, straight as an arrow, from that blue that you see, and he points to the scene in the. He points to the scene in the image, and you can go ahead and show us the image if you'd like. And he points to the scene, and he says, and you see that mountain, and one of them, the mountains behind the forest, you can see has a blue streak running down it. He says, that's a waterfall. And if you head due north of that waterfall, there should be a road. There used to be a road. And if you can find that road, it should take you right to the base of the mountain and the keep. And if you do that, but I do need to tell you a little bit about the Bakaline Forest was never pacified. And it can be a dangerous place.
Cade kind of raises his hand and he goes, is this where we need to talk about the Gungan toss? I mean, I know that they sound like they could...
Gungan toss.
Oh, Gungan toss, because it sounded like they could absolutely destroy an entire trilogy.
The less you know about the Kangan toss, the better. I will just tell you that
you're sending us into kind of a pretty dangerous seeming mission, and it seems the less we know about anything, the worse off we're going to be.
Well, the Kangan toss, with what you're doing, the Kangan toss are not to be feared. They are not to be feared, unless.
And why are you so guarded about what they are?
Well, because they're not. Most people. They're very secretive about what they do. Okay, they're very secretive about what they do, and so but they do keep track of the crystals. And that's basically what they do. They're a secret organization that keeps track of the crystals. There, I said it. That's all I'm going to say, and I won't tell you anymore.
There seem to be crystals kind of everywhere here.
Well, yes, but
How
not
are
like
they...
the.
Oh, they keep track of like the powered crystals.
Yes. Dangerous ones. Yeah,
I see.
Many people use crystals in everyday life. There's
They
not
must
near...
love your tower.
Oh well, they don't mess with me. I mean, I'm no threat to them. They occasionally they send me things to study. So I mean, that's how I know about them. And I mean, if I'd say so myself, I know quite a bit about the crystals and things like that, and a lot of the history and stuff.
Excellent.
So I know about them too, and they know that I know about them. But they do they leave me alone. I mean, it's I've been working with them.
Sure. So our goal is to go to the Bakaline Forest and make sure that this keep has been kept in its impenetrated state.
Yes, basically, yes. Just check it out. Yeah.
Observe and report, as it were.
That sort of, yes. And Sensei says, if you do remember, when we started this, we asked you to stop the necromancer, and you haven't accomplished that goal yet. That's still my hope, that I believe you will be able to stop this.
So you want us to
necromancer.
go into the keep if it has been, as I said, penetrated, and stop the necromancer from within said keep.
Yes, because
deal. And can we just is there any kind of merit system or reward, or can somebody trust us a little bit more? We're doing quite a bit for your territory here, and we were literally here to visit.
life.
Well, maybe not Pan. Pan is actually kind of considering herself one of you guys. But I know myself, I came here because of some crummy dream that I had. And now I seem to be stuck in some loop of missions and quests that I don't feel like I need to be totally involved.
Well, you have had a close interaction with the heart. The heart has given
Appreciate it.
A great gift.
The heart of a missing god that can't actually communicate any... Oh, do you know where she is? Can I speak with her? You said that they haven't made contact with here in thousands of years, right?
But I also told you that the god is what we put into it. The heart is what we put into it.
Yeah, that's not really a god, though.
Maybe
that's more like an artifact.
Maybe it's a new kind of god. Maybe it's the way gods should be. Because the gods that we had before, they ran roughshod over this place. That's why they were banished. They interfered in our daily lives. They interfered.
The story seems a tad different than the one that you were telling me before. You Who banished them?
They were banished by the Fae. They did something, and we don't know what it
Okay.
was, and they were cast out. There was so a little bit of history, but there's a comet that used to circle Mesandriel, and it came about every few hundred years. And when it came about, it would drop little pieces of itself into Mesandriel, and it was a crystal comet, and that's where the crystals came from.
Okay. I feel like we're actually kind of getting somewhere with understanding this world now.
So the gods, one of the gods, actually a dark god, a devil, he saw that he could use these crystals and the tieflings to gain more power and to gain more control of Mesandriel. Well, the crystal comet was attracted to energy, and Melanor, this land, has always had incredible volcanic activity and just a tremendous amount of energy. And over the years, this comet kept, getting closer and closer and closer to Melanor as opposed to the rest of Mesandriel. And then a part of it broke off, and it crashed into the mountains in the south where the tieflings were, and bits and pieces of it crashed around, as you saw the Heart of Morena. And when this happened, great energy, and that's when the shard mines were born, and the curats were born, and incredible power from these crystals. And it
And that's when the gods came to exist?
no, the gods always existed.
Okay, so Heart of Morena not actually tied to Morena.
Yes, Morena put a part of herself.
Yeah. But when the crystal came about, it was kind of its own cosmic power.
The crystals were not. But what they did was they opened up the ability for the gods to become more involved. And some of them saw the extent of the power that the crystals gave, and they chose to use that. And other gods chose to oppose that. And pretty soon they were taking an active part in life, and they were fighting wars, and they were manipulating. And the Fae had finally had enough, and somehow they banished the gods from Mesandriel and Melanor. And that's when Melanor was broken loose. And before the gods left, some of them were able to impart pieces of themselves into crystals that they had been imparting part of their essence in before all this happened.
Now, final question before...
So is that what you're saying happened to the cat?
I don't believe that's a different kind of life.
The cat is from
but you
a
might
Curat
rub it
heart.
on its side and say some special words, and maybe a genie will pop out. I don't know.
That's strange. Final question, and then I think we kind of need to... I don't know if you have a place to rest here
You can rest
before
here.
we continue our journey, but the Fae, you've mentioned them a couple of times. Are they still involved in this world? Because Fae is not really a good word where we came from.
There are connections. There are nexus points to the Fae.
Okay, so but they're not like
too.
they're not like lounging about, hanging out, waiting for us to come by.
No, there are places where there will be more
The nexus
active than
points
others.
are kind of... Now, are they gateways to the Fae worlds, or are they just kind of points where the magics kind of collide between Melanor and the Fae?
Or are these gateways to where the gods have been banished?
Well, we believe, at least Centaur's been studying this, and he believes that there are gods that are trying to reopen the portals to get back in and re-energize the crystals and the power of the crystals. So...
and you believe the Tieflings are attempting to assist them in this?
Well, they are the Valar. The Valar align
that is
themselves...
very different than Tolkien's Valar, let me tell you.
Maybe so.
Just a little.
Just a tad.
Maybe so.
That was not who I was expecting the Valar to be.
They, there are a number of races, but they align themselves pretty closely with the devils. And,
So the Valar is not a race, it is a collective.
yes.
Okay, cool. I feel like we're kind of getting to the point where I am interested enough in this world to kick the crap out of the Valar. Okay.
And the reason that the Bargazers hate the Tieflings so much, because the Valar, the first race that they attacked were the Bargazers in the plains of Alfagar. And they enslaved them. And ever since then, they've had no home, which is why they're nomads now. At least most of them.
Okay. So the Beckeline Forest, we kind of got our heading there.
Yes,
I think we
that
need to
is-
rest up, and Census, if you have a moment before we head out, I would like to have a conversation with just you.
That would be fine. I'm sure that Centaur, you have accommodations for them here. They can head out in the morning. And I'm not sure what we can do. At the heart, I could heal you of your life force. I'm not sure what I can do here, but I think I have an idea, and with Centaur's help, we might be able to do something, a band-aid of sorts.
If nothing else, we will return back to the heart post our mission here at the Beckeline Forest.
I can definitely heal you at that point in time. I promise you, I can restore you back to your proper selves. Yes, I would love to have a conversation with you, Nevi. And if you would like something to eat, and I believe Centaur, if I'm not mistaken, you can procure just about anything from almost anywhere. At least that's what you claim. Well,
That's a very cool
that's,
trick.
that's not exactly completely true, but yeah, almost. Yeah, maybe, sure. hmm But what did you want?
Salted pork would be nice. Be very
Okay,
good.
That should be easy enough. And what about the little guy here? What does he want?
I need a keg of beer.
Oh yeah, one of those for me too.
Large thing of potatoes, steamed. Make sure there's onions, and I need to have. I'll just eat some of his salted pork, but
Get your own.
Whoa,
then I need salted
hang
pork and bread and
Okay. I wasn't expecting all that. We're not going to McDonald's, okay? Why don't
McDonald's
You-
here?
Is he some farmer with some kind of restaurant attached to his business?
No, those French fries are great. I love McDonald's French fries. Oh gosh.
What are Frenched fries?
Oh, would you like some? Those I can get. I get those pretty regularly. Why do you think I live so long?
What is a French?
They have preservatives.
okay,
What?
okay. I'll go without anything else, just the keg of beer.
Fair enough. Okay. And do you have? I will procure a keg for you. Actually, why don't you tell Zekrat what you want? And because I it's not really.
Kate's
what I
already
do.
giving him the list.
And Rao, again, I'm sorry, and but give me 1 second. And he goes and he gets his little glasses, he picks them up off the desk, and he says, I need to check something out with you. If that's okay, I promise I won't hurt you. This time I know I won't hurt you. I know you probably don't trust me that much right now, but I won't hurt you. And he goes and he grabs one of his tuning forks.
Guys,
And
if
he-
he hurts me, kill him.
Got
That wouldn't
you,
be
Muriel.
good. You wouldn't even want to do that, but that's okay. That's okay. And
I'm
so,
telling you, you don't even want to mess with morale because we will hurt you.
oh, well, yeah, I don't want to. I
I
want
don't
to.
actually know morale that well. I'm gonna sit out on that one.
Hey, we have to look out for each other. Just go along with it. Just go along with it.
Yeah, we'll hurt you real good.
Navi,
Your
I
in trails will
was
become your out trails.
really-
We've
Okay,
already
okay.
almost died together enough times. Just go with it.
Speak for yourself.
Do what you want. She stepped on my head.
So he pulls up a tuning fork, and this one is a gray, and it matches parts of your fur, and he taps it, and he moves it close to you, and you can feel the vibrations, and you feel your skin tingle a little bit all over your body. It's not a bad tingle. It's just kind of like, like when someone rubs their fingers very gently on your skin, just all, and you feel it kind of rubbing all over your body, and your hair kind of stands up a little bit. and it's actually an interesting sensation. And he's looking at you with his glasses, and he comes back. He says, "Yeah. You're Grenlock, but you're not. You are from another plane, and yeah. So you're tied somehow, but from different places. So yeah, this is very interesting. This is very, very, very interesting. So okay, that's all I really needed to know. And but yeah, if you just speak to Zachariah, he'll find a place for you, put you up for the night, and you know, and he'll take care of all your needs. Anything you wish, he should be able to procure. You know, within reason, of course. You understand? Everything within reason. Moderation. If you want to live like me, a long time, moderation. You know, French fries and moderation.
Not that interested in living as long as you have.
Yeah, it has its pluses and minuses, but I've been able to find out a lot. Oh yeah, I've found out a lot. So anyway, Zachariah will he's downstairs, and he will get you some rooms. And since he says, I believe I will accompany you, but first I need to talk to Centaur for a moment, because I have an idea to help you in your life force issue, at least temporarily. And so he, you know, she beckons you down to proceed down the hallway, and she turns and starts walking towards Centaur and says, and you can hear her start talking. Now, Centaur, here's my idea. And they, you know, start talking. I assume y'all are walking down the stairs?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So y'all walk down the stairs, and Zachariah's standing at the bottom. He says, well, Centaur told me I'm supposed to provide you with any kind of food that you would like. What is it you desire? And he knows your two requests, and beer, that seems rather okay, mundane, but yes. And
Can we get like bread and potatoes too?
Yes, absolutely. That
And
would
lots of
be-
salted pork.
And lots of salted pork. I can make that happen. Yes, that would definitely happen. I will show you to your rooms. And he walks over, and this time a door actually appears in the wall, and he opens it up, and he says, this is the sitting room here, and you can come back here. And he takes you back into a crystal chamber, and there's tapestries hanging on all the walls, and the tapestries show, one of the tapestries shows this incredible crystal tree, and you can tell it's immense. And as you look closer to it, you can see there are elves living in this tree, and they're walking, and you know, the scene is alive.
Are they making cookies?
And no, not at the tree, but at the base, there's a little bitty factory going on that produces a little conveyor belt of cookies.
Of course they are.
You still got cookies?
You made a whole batch.
Cookie, I know. I wish we could send Zachariah to your house right now. Cookie.
Yes.
Go steal Cade's cookies.
Some of us do know how to bake.
That's true. Can you bake in a Dutch oven?
You wouldn't want to.
Oh, yes, you would.
I'll put you in a Dutch oven.
I feel sorry for your wife, sir. I feel sorry for your wife.
Oh, no, you go camping with me sometime, and you taste some of the things I pull out of that Dutch oven.
No, we're good. We're good.
He doesn't know.
I don't.
You're right.
Mm.
Oh, Rick, do you know to what we're referring? We need to tell our streaming listeners.
Okay, yes, please. So I feel like I know, too. Go ahead.
It's when you fart under the blanket and put someone's head under the
Covers.
blanket with it.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And you
That's
trap
what
them
a
under the
Dutch oven?
covers.
Oh, my gosh.
And you're like, you should taste some of the things that come out of my Dutch oven when I
Oh my god! Oh man, it's so interesting when you finally understand the context of something. You know, like you're sitting there talking, and I've got.
And we're just holding it in, trying not to lose it.
Well, that's what you do under the covers, right?
Can we take
I,
a break?
I have a whole story about mountain oysters that I'll share with you off stream.
Oof.
Can we take a break?
We can take a break. Yes. Would you like to take a break?
Yes, I
Yeah,
need
we'll be
beer.
right back. I'm just gonna mute the stream. I'm gonna keep it up though.
All right.
Oh god, so we're back.
Welcome back. So y'all are looking at this tapestry, and it's a massive, beautiful crystal tree with silver and gold and ruby, colored, shimmering leaves on it, and it's just, you almost can't take your eyes off it. It's so beautiful. And Zachrat looks at, oh, isn't that, yes, it's a shame it's no more. That was the tree of Riornia. But here, let me show you to your rooms. And so, Reornia.
Reornia.
Yeah.
Is that in the forest we're going to?
He said it doesn't exist anymore.
No.
But
No, well,
through foreshadowing, I feel like we might encounter that again.
it's not that it doesn't exist. It's just nobody can go there. It's been corrupted. And
Wait,
so
Ow.
Oh, corrupted.
What do you mean?
during the war, that's how they destroyed the elven city of Riornia. That's where Centaur is actually from. It's a shame. They had to relocate to the forest of Farlan, up north. But many of the people survived. But they're
The forest of Farlan?
Farlan, yes, up north of the. Yes.
Tree of Riornia corrupted. Corrupted by what? Like necrotic magic?
The Valar launched an assault through the crystal chamber. You're familiar with the heart of Morena.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Riornia, the great tree of Riornia was grown much the same as the heart of Morena. The elves, the Frugantas, the dwarven Frugantas came and assisted the elves in singing it into existence. It was where one of the shards from the crystal comet landed and in the forest, and they grew it into the great tree. The Frugantas,
The Frugantas?
they're dwarven singers, crystal singers. They sing crystals into.
Is that what Toss means? Does Toss mean singers?
No,
Does Toss mean crystals?
no.
Okay, I feel like you're being more honest with us than your buddy is. We heard another name, the Kingantas, and now you're telling us about the Frugantas. What's the relation between those two words?
One's a Gungan, one's a fruit?
No. What does Toss mean? Like in art, like in common language, what would Toss translate to? Because I'm assuming Frugan is some kind of dwarven ideal, right? It's like a dwarven people group. But what is Toss?
Toss is that Rick really, really likes the way that toss sounds at the end of a word.
And not remembering exactly the name of the crystal singers when I brought them up. I was fixing to pull up the glossary, but it's not toss, it's a D instead of a T.
Oh, it's Frugantas.
Yes.
Frugantas. Okay. Those all. I hate to say this because it sounds like I'm ignorant, but all your words kind of do sound a little bit similar. So,
what? Two syllables and then a single syllable?
I want to get at what corrupted this tree because we're kind of being sent on this quest to go stop somebody who seems to be corrupting this land.
And where are you going?
We're going to the Baccaline Forest.
Oh.
Wait, why did you say it like that?
Well, that's not a friendly place.
No, I didn't imagine it would be based on the hill we just came back from.
Yes,
Twice.
Most of the dragons joined the war against the Valar, but not the dragons from the Baccaline Forest. They've remained outside.
That is an important distinction. Dragons are the dragons neutral or are they on the side of the Valar?
I think they're more on their own side than the side of the Valar.
Okay, so the dragons of the Baccaline Forest are neutral toward the goings on of the world.
As much as dragons can be neutral about anything.
Well, neutral in the sense that they prefer their own benefit prior to any other benefit of the world around them.
Yes, and there's energies coming from the forest that, you know.
Okay,
So
again, what corrupted the tree? The Frugendas and the Riornia elves, I'm assuming is what you would call them. Yes.
the Riornian elves lived in the
So
Great
the
Tree.
Riornians and the Frugendas sung this crystal into a giant tree.
Yes, that was aeons ago. And then during the war, the Valar tried to destroy the Riornians because obviously they were a very powerful race.
Obviously,
And they launched an assault into the tree,
they went
And-
into the tree.
into their crystal chamber in the heart of the tree.
Wait
And
a minute.
Yep.
Yes.
We don't know about this yet, but yep.
We dreamed about it.
But we don't remember the dream.
I thought we did remember the
We
dream.
we only remembered the eagle's roost dream. We didn't remember the dream we had at level 8 or whatever. Yeah.
Alright.
Which
My bad.
to me this kind of seems like, because you made us make those characters at level 9, right, Rick?
8, I
Eights.
think. But
They were
yeah.
level 8s.
So we're not far off from that level here. I'm getting kind of concerned.
As well you should.
So the Tree of Riornia, they attacked the crystal inside of it, and what did they do to corrupt the tree?
The crystal energy that they launched into it was apparently a part of one of the primal Curat hearts. They had a primal Curat, necrotic primal Curat heart, and they used it a number of times to create bombs, basically, to go off in some of these. The dwarves of Starndar, they did the same thing. They believed that the dwarves of Cursek, something similar happened to some of the great and powerful nations. In fact, Starndar to this day is ruled by a lich known as Resurrection, and everything there is it's total undeath. But anyway, it was a wonderful place, a fantastic place, and it's a shame. I only got to visit a couple times before it was destroyed.
Where is Riornia in relation to the Bakaline forest that we're going to?
Oh, you're heading south,
and Riornia is north.
You're heading
Northern
southeast, and Riornia would be basically due east. You're heading southwest, and Riornia would be basically due east.
Another question: in the Bakaline forest, is there a relic like the Heart of Morena and the Riornian tree?
We don't know.
You don't know if there's a crystal object.
It's untamed. It's unexplored.
Oh.
Yes. It's
Is there a god named Riornia?
no.
Okay, so the Heart of Morena is channeled in by this god, Morena, but Riornia is channeled in by the actual people of the forest.
They sung
And
it.
that's how it got its power, because they sang to it.
Well, the power was there. They merely directed it and
Sure, yeah, I
channeled.
get you. So is the Tree of Riornia less powerful than the Heart of Morena?
Very interesting question. That I do not know.
Okay. I understand why Centaur is so crazy right now. I'm highly interested in this stuff. Okay. One last question, and then we would very much like food, and I need to talk to Census. Who are the King and Toss?
That is a question you'll have to take up with Centaur.
I already tried, and he seems to be dishonest with me about it.
Was he dishonest, or was he just not forthcoming?
Where we come from, withholding information is the same as dishonesty.
But where we come from, they're not the same. Sometimes being dishonest is telling you a lie. Withholding information for your own good is not telling you a lie.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Is not knowing about them putting us in potential harm's way?
Not as much as knowing about them might.
What the heck does that mean? How would they know that we knew?
Sometimes you sit down in your closet and the walls hear what you think.
I have never done that. Okay. Obviously, you're kind of on the side of your
Cade
friend,
looks over at our
master.
friendly druid. Is that true?
Oh, eating a
Um,
cookie. Cookies.
She did. She went and got her cookies.
I said I was
Okay.
gonna get my cookies.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
I feel like I'm kind of controlling the conversation here. Does anybody else have
Yes.
questions for Zachariah?
No, you're doing
That's
just
his
fine.
name, right? I know,
Yes,
but I don't want to
Zachariah.
be the only one talking.
My questions were answered.
I'm sorry.
he-
I
as he
apologize if I
explained.
am taking over. I don't want to do that.
No, that was fine. That
I
was
just get very passionate about lore.
Yeah, no, and
yeah.
I am glad that you did, and
Well, Nevi
Yeah.
is finally kind of tying himself to this world, which is a
And
good thing because
fruit-
I was ready to leave.
it is Frugendas, and it's Frugendas. Just
And is it one? Is Frugendas and
It's one
Kingendas
word.
one word?
words? Frugendas is one word.
King and Toss is two words.
I know, and I
Frugendas
don't
is
know why
one.
y'all think they sound the same. They're totally different.
Can we get a copy of that glossary?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it didn't pop up on the screen, did it? No. Yes, maybe not right now, but eventually, yes.
Tell you what, can you make a
Uh-huh.
player's glossary that we can then add to as we go, or make a Google sheet of it?
That's not a bad idea. I could
Actually, you know
possibly
what?
do something like that.
I'll start a Google sheet after this session and try to compile some information for you guys,
Yeah,
so that we can
'cause
have a
it's-
co-journal.
Yeah, there's a whole.
There's a
Nice.
lot, and I'm very intrigued by it.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can't keep. I'm trying to write it and I can't.
Yeah, me
keep up.
too.
I'm like, okay, let me get. Okay.
I will try to put something together in the glossary as far as things that you've encountered already.
Thank
Okay.
You know.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah.
just put that together and shoot it to me, I'll put it in a Google Doc that we can edit as we go.
Yes, because
I'll keep a community journal.
yeah, there's another thing that he did that I don't think I even mentioned. But anyway, so y'all get your food. We'll
Yeah,
Move
we'll
a
fast
little
travel.
Okay, so he brings you each to a very nice room, and each one of them has a window, and he looks at you and he says, "Is there anything in particular you would like to see?"
An aurora, actually, as I sleep. That would be kind of nice.
Okay, I can make that happen. And he walks over to the window and he puts his hand against it, and it's actually just a piece of wall, and the next thing you know, there's a beautiful aurora. And he can do that for each one of you. Anything that you would care to see?
I want to see the forest back home.
Okay, that I cannot help you with because I don't know what your forest back home looks like. But I could
It's
bring up
trees.
the Baccaline forest, and he brings up an image of the Baccaline forest, which everybody can see on their screens.
Can you give me a virtual tour of the Baccaline Forest?
Well,
I'm kidding.
the old road, possibly. So everybody gets the scene, and the food. He takes your orders, and
Which what do Pan and Morale order? I'm interested. I imagine I know what Morale's order is.
I just want
I wanna
some
know
mashed potatoes and some chicken legs, if you have them. Would be nice.
how would you like this prepared?
Can you fry them?
Some
I will
buffalo
see.
sauce?
I think I'm familiar with a restaurant that has those.
Is it in Kentucky?
I do not know where Kentucky is, but
Neither.
But this man named the Colonel has created.
you know the Colonel.
He came up to me one day and started talking about his chicken. So I followed him. I
Recently-
can't resist the chicken.
Recently, he went off the deep end and started talking about waffles too.
know.
I'm in. I'm into it.
I
I'm
don't
ready
get
for
that.
it.
So
Give me that
each of
chicken and
you.
waffle breakfast sandwich. I'm ready.
So he brings each of you a meal, and you go into your rooms, which are nice and cozy, and spend the night. And Nevi, you wanted to talk to Sensi?
Yeah, just breathe. Is it Cincy? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Census, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, census. So they will come down in the morning.
Okay.
Y'all get up in the morning, and the sun peaks up over in your aurora and over your forest, and basically, wakes you up. You hear the birds singing and chirping, and Morale, you have dreams of. Do you prefer chasing birds or mice or fish? What is your?
Great question.
Well, I would have ordered fish for dinner, so let's go with the fish.
Okay, all right. So you will hear fish splashing in a pond that's that's being overlooked by a beautiful forest on the edge of a hill. And you actually dream about these places in the middle of the night. When you're dreaming about being in these places. And it's very peaceful and restful. And so you wake up in the morning, you come out, beautiful breakfast, pancakes, scrambled eggs, hash browns,
Waffles with some leftover
waffles.
chicken.
Yes. fried chicken and waffles, yes.
If nothing else, you're going to get a whole lot of food references on this podcast.
That's true.
So since this, she greets you in the morning. Semaphore is not, he's wherever Semaphore is, and she says, "Well, good morning. I hope you had a nice rest."
Very peaceful, thank you.
And she hands each one of you, basically, it's a small crystal, and she says, "This is the Band-Aid I told you about. As long as you carry this, your hit points will be their normal maximum."
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure how long it will last, but hopefully it will last long enough for you to get back to the heart of Morena.
Question.
Yes.
What if I carry his and hers?
It will not take you higher than your maximum hit points,
Damn
your
it.
maximum life force.
So does that mean if they take a hit, they're not going to lose any hit points?
No, it means that they will be able to restore their life force back to its original full amount. It basically will allow you to fill your cup. You won't be able to overfill your cup permanently, but I know there are abilities that will allow you to temporarily have increased. It will do that too. But until I can get you back to where I have my powers.
Should we record these as temporary hit points or go ahead and bump us back up to our original hit point value?
I would keep them as a separate. They're not temps, but you can record them as temps if you want, but they're not temps.
I think that would be easier for me to remember than like trying to
Well, if something happens and you lose your crystal, then
Right.
you'll lose those. So if you can keep
Right,
it
so
separate. And there is a little
recording them
box
as
on
temp, yeah.
yeah, there's a little box for temporary hit points on most character sheets. So
Yeah, we've got it on our D&D Beyonds.
okay. So and she says, and Sensi's, Nevi, you said you wish to have a conversation, and then you should really be hitting the road.
Yeah, it shouldn't take long. Can we do it privately? Would you mind?
No, not at all. Here, if you would like to come to my quarters. And she takes you through the same door that y'all went through, and she goes down the hall to a wall where another door appears. And she goes inside, and there's a beautiful big room with windows and a study. And she sits down at the chair at the study and says, "Yes, what is she wish to talk about?"
So I produce my shield and I say, Morena's like
Beautiful.
this goddess of like hope and life, right?
Yes.
Well, my whatever awakened inside of me in the process of her healing me after my disconnect with my body previously,
Yes.
produced this, and I hold out my my left hand because I just decided right now that Nevi is a lefty, and produce a shadow blade.
A shadow blade.
Yes, sorcerer level 2 spell.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I was wreaking havoc on your enemies with in our previous session. Is very strong, but it's created by shadow, and it doesn't feel necrotic, but it also doesn't resemble like light and life to me. And that to have this shield awarded to me, and then to have this come out of my basically my soul, I don't know what to do with that, because Morena seems to have awakened both of these things. The shield was given to me by the tree, and the sword happened after my healing. It seems like a natural part of me.
I don't think that Morena awoke that shadow blade in you necessarily. That is something that I feel would have come from you. Because what do you do with that blade? You bring death.
Yes.
And that's not what Morena is about. Though death can bring new life, and death is a necessary part of the cycle. It's just the way it is. The wheat, the fields, all these things that Morena cares for, and the birds, and they go through a cycle of life and death. So death is part of it, but I don't think that she necessarily brought that into existence for you. The shield protects you, but it also has the ability to cause harm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I just... It's strange to me that my body, my being, so naturally creates something of shadow and disarray, and yet my tie to this world is entirely based on life and growth.
That is a road that you must travel and make decisions. That is what the heart is all about. It is the decisions that you make. You have to navigate this on your own. I cannot tell you what is right and what is wrong in this instance. You have shadow and you have light. Both are parts of your soul. Which beast are you going to feed? And which direction are you going to take? And can you embrace both? That is the questions that you must ask yourself. And I have a feeling that the best way to explore these, the best way to purify metal is in the fire. And it seems like your destiny is to put your feet into the fire.
Can I ask you this about Cade?
Yes.
I've seen him do some interesting magic.
Yes.
Do you sense that he has some tie to a sort of shadowy benefactor that gives him that magic? I'm just not sure. I haven't seen magic like that before, and if so, then maybe he can help me.
I cannot answer that directly. I can tell you that he has a connection with something. But I feel that connection. I can feel his life searching for something.
Sure. I think we kind of all are at this point.
Yes, because the one thing, when you come to Melanor from wherever you've come, you lose that connection. As you get farther and farther from the past that you came through, you will lose that connection. And you'll become tighter and tighter bonded with Melanor, and perhaps your fate. Every one of you have spoken of dreams and a pull here. Melanor has pulled you here for some purpose. You must walk that road, and you must find your own path between the light and the dark in your soul. And Morena, you can call on Morena, because keep in mind what I've spoken to you before. What you put in and the direction you go is what you will get out.
Let's see. Real quick, Rick, this is out of character. What was you used Melanor, and you used another name for where the comet went around before?
Mazandriel.
And what is Mazandriel? What is the difference in Melanor and Mazandriel?
Are you asking her?
No, I'm asking. Well, sure, yeah. In our conversation yesterday, you mentioned Mazandriel.
Yes,
I thought
believe
Melanor was the place we were at, but is that not?
Melanor,
is Melanor only a part?
Yes, Melanor is a part that was ripped away from Mazandriel. Mazandriel was a world, I think, much like your own, and Melanor was just a small region of that world.
So Melanor is like a
ripped out.
continent.
Not even a, yes, basically yes, like a continent that was ripped around. Melanor is completely surrounded by volcanic mountains, completely impenetrable volcanic mountains, and tremendous energy grows inside of this place. And though there is a on the north end of the mountains, there's another region which is where the Dragonborn came from. They're not originally from Melanor. They basically immigrated in, and we don't have time to go into all of that.
Sure.
But they were refugees at one time, and they brought law and order, whereas the Tieflings had been the power. The Dragonborn slowly became a greater power, and people turned to them more, and that's a lot of why the Tieflings were used to were easy bait for the powers that be.
So, were the Dragonborn similar to us then?
No,
kinda
they
came
were
from a different plane.
No, they were always part of Misandriel, but they were on the other side of the mountains.
Yeah. Okay.
And the crystals, when the crystals crashed, they opened up a portal between. And there's Centifor could tell you a whole lot more about that than I could.
Sure.
But he's gone for the moment. He'll be back soon. But you'll probably be gone by the time he gets back.
Yeah,
so
we should probably be off toward the Baccaline Forest.
I think so. You have mastered your provisions. I have procured, and she will give you each 2 healing potions, as she did before.
Very
Okay.
nice of her.
Yes. And she will also give you a blessing. And each one of you will get 5 temporary hit points. That is good. Yes. 5. Yes. And again, these are from Melanor. They will last until they are used.
What was the 5 temporary hit points you said?
Yep.
So I have 9 total then.
Okay. So, don't lose your crystals. Remember, Baccaline is a place I wish that you did not have to go there, but destiny calls. And so with that, she will say, have a safe trip. You need to head west until you find the South Road. Follow that to the town of Destern, and then take the old road to Renamore. And somewhere along there, you should find the place that he showed you in the picture of the road leading into the forest.
Yeah, we do it.
Okay. All right.
Well, I say I'm ready to head out.
All right.
Speak for everybody.
So you leave the room and go back out, and everybody else is still out there. They're finishing breakfast, and they're
Not
still.
my fancy new armor.
When you put it on, too, it literally almost feels like it becomes a second skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you feel slightly more agile in this armor.
Ooh, okay.
And in fact, you, it's +1 studded leather armor,
Ooh.
and
Nice.
you feel a little bit. It gives you +2 to stealth and +2 to animal handling. Basically, it gives you proficiency in stealth and proficiency in animal handling.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
That is super awesome. Woo!
So that should help your armor class a little bit.
Just a little, yeah, makes me a little less squishy.
You won't be 11 anymore.
Oh, yeah. I'm up to a whole 12 now.
No, you should be much higher than that. Studded leather is what?
Is it?
13, I
I think
think.
it's
Yeah.
Oh, is
13
it?
plus, yeah.
Yeah, 13. So I'd be 14.
Beautiful. Love that for me. Let me fix that on my...
Yeah, you might check it. I'd have to pull out the sheet, but we can do that. So
Yeah,
y'all,
I was going to ask afterwards.
yeah, that's fine. And y'all head west, and pretty soon you come to a road. And she had told you it's the first major road that you come to, and you start heading south on the road. And as you head south, there's a caravan moving up the road towards you. And as they get closer, you can see that it's mostly comprised of humans, and they're pulling wagons full of lumber. And they don't really pay you much mind. They just kind of ride on by. And you keep heading south. And pretty soon, it's pretty uneventful. But as you get closer, you can see the forest in the distance and the mountains quite a bit of distance beyond that. And pretty soon you see a large wooden, looks like a very large stockade. And it's pretty well fortified. You're coming to the town of Destern. There's two human guards at the gate. There's a large double gate right in the center of the wall, about 20-foot walls, all made of wood. On the other side of it, probably about 100 yards beyond it, maybe 200 yards beyond it, is the forest. You can see there's a road that heads west out of there, and there is a road that heads east out of there. And there's a river that flows right by it. And it turns and heads east also, and it flows out of the forest.
Is it Gestern or Destern with a D?
Destern, D.
With a D, okay.
It's Destern Toss. No, it's just Destern.
Okay, I guess we approach the town. Yeah.
And it'd be late in the day at this point. You would have been traveling most of the day.
But it only took us one day to get there?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. And we can see the forest that we're headed to from here?
Yes.
Wow, that's not far at all. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Yep. So, okay, so you approach and you can see there's no flag of Malak flying from it, which you've seen most every place else has the flag of Malak.
Which is the Dragonborn army?
Yes, the red and silver dragons. But you do see Malak's soldier sitting in a little guardhouse, off to the side of the front gate. And you can see, walking up top, you see a bunch of humans, guards. And every once in a while, you'll see a Dragonborn soldier.
Okay.
And so you walk up, and the guards step out and say, "Halt. What business do you have in?"
We're simply passing through, but you can see we are conscripts of Malak, and I show them the badge or paperwork or whatever the heck they gave us when we came through.
Oh, I see. And he turns to the Dragonborn and says, "Do you recognize this?" And he looks up. Let me see. And he gets up and he walks over. Yeah.
Was it a 2-year agreement or just as long as we were here?
2 week.
2 week. Okay, so we're still within that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I see. Recruits.
Yeah, of a way.
I see. And what are you doing here?
We're seeking the old road.
Well, the old road heads west out of here.
Excellent.
So, are you planning on spending the night?
What do you guys think? Spend the night here, or grab a meal and head on?
Cade just chimes in. He's like, I think we just go ahead and grab a meal, get a good night's sleep, because who knows what's going to happen when we get down the road.
Yeah, if
That's
we're
fair.
close enough to the forest, I'd rather start it in the morning. Best not to
Yeah,
go
we're
head first into
how long of a
the
day's
night.
journey is it going to be to get there? A half day, 6 hours?
You don't know exactly. And he wouldn't be able to tell you if you're going to ask.
I was a druid who ranged professionally.
You think
I would be able to guess. I think
you probably would guess it'd be about a day.
Okay.
Be about another day.
about a full day. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe if we just found a place to take a nap and headed off toward middle of the night, I think that would be best, y'all.
So
I don't need a long rest.
So
I'll
you
take
wanna-
a short one.
You want to travel
I'm
on the Broccoline Forest at night? Okay.
We're just gonna move toward it.
I see. Well, the Deer Speaker is the only inn in town, and it's run by Makshi. So they have good food, good lodging. I would say go there.
The deer speaker.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have hourly rates, or is it a full night deal?
I think if you get a room, you get a room.
Okay.
So,
What kind of inns
All right.
have you been staying at?
ones
Here,
where they
none.
ones where they allow Dutch ovens, you know.
That's right. All right. Yeah. I guess I want to go get some food and maybe restock supplies if we need it, and then head on in a couple hours. Take a nap and then move forward.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
that's pretty
everybody
much
in
that's pretty much the deal. I need to get a
Yeah.
I need to
Is
get
everybody in
a
agreement here?
Yep.
Keep in mind, there's something known as fatigue.
Yeah.
So even though you don't need a long rest,
Well, I'm a half elf, so I'm good. I
Right,
need 4
but-
hours.
Yeah.
but the longer you go without rest, and once you get into the broccoline forest, do you know how many times you're going to actually get the opportunities to take
No.
long rests? Just putting it out there.
given
But
the
I'm not metagaming, Rick. I'm acting like my character would act.
Okay.
given the other information that has happened throughout this campaign, none.
But it'll also only take us a couple hours to get through it. So
Well, taking a long rest is basically just flipping the page, you know, in D&D typically.
that's true. But I don't want to have to take a long rest when we get there. That's what I'm trying to avoid is getting there when the sun is going down. If it's going to take us a full day to get there, I want to get there when we still have some daylight to examine the forest.
I see. You'll be traveling along the forest the whole way, but y'all
So-
discuss
but-
it. I'm stepping out. Y'all do
But
what
if
you're gonna do.
we do take a long rest, I mean the sun hasn't set yet. We're getting toward the end of the day, so if we take a long rest at what 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Rick,
You're probably, yeah, by the time you eat, it'll probably be about 8 o'clock.
8. So I mean we'd be leaving at 4 if we woke up after 8 hours of rest. That seems doable.
Yeah.
We just leave before dawn and make sure we have some daylight to examine stuff before we set up camp.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
okay with that.
Okay, so
I
you
need a
go,
long rest anyway because I used a spell to show senses my sword. If you catch my drift.
Census thought you had your sword wasn't very large. So.
Well, it does a whole 2d8 damage, so we'll see.
Ooh.
Hey,
All right, so y'all go into the inn, and it looks, you know, it's ironically you pretty much see humans. Mostly what you see here are humans, which you haven't seen a lot of humans. Mostly you've seen dwarves, elves, half elves, but here you see mostly humans and half elves. And so anyway, a young gal comes and takes your orders. They pretty well have, you know, mostly venison, some cattle, you know, some steak. They do have fish. So they've, you know, got quite a variety of food. The town probably looks like there's probably about 150 people there. It's not a big town. You realize just talk and everything, there's a mill nearby, and that most of what they do is it's lumber. Okay, so they get wood and stuff like that. And, you know, so y'all can have your meal, drink your beer, and unless there's something you wish to do, you know, spend the night.
I'm good. It's just gonna be narrative space of a long rest, and that's it. So
There you go. All right, so you wake up. Have you decided what time you wish to leave? Because you figure it's about 8 o'clock.
I think we said we would rest till about 4.
So, okay.
So be up. you
grab
know.
something to eat and then get ready to head out. So probably
Yeah, head out before dawn.
probably
Okay,
be
well,
just
they
before
start-
dawn.
If you're going to grab something to eat, they'll start serving breakfast about 6.
Well, then,
Mm,
nah, we want to be out the door just before daybreak.
Okay.
right. So
Can we
we'll
buy
Um,
some-
You
Then
could
I-
pay for them to, you could buy some bread and things like that, and cheese and things like that, if you want to take with you. So, you know, pre-prepared stuff. They have that, beer. So any foodstuffs like that, you can get. They actually have salted. They have some salted meats too. Because you figure that the people that haul the lumber, there's not a lot of inns always along the way. There is an inn, but so you can get travel provisions from there. So by the time you get done with all your travel provisions and everything there, it's probably going to run about 5 silver each. Spend the night, 2 meals. Okay. So y'all take off on the old road.
Before we head out, is there any law in town other than Malik?
Are you going to go find out?
I kind of would like to.
Okay, tell me what you do.
Yeah, is there? I just kind of ask around, like, is there a sheriff other than soldiers of Malik? Is there any kind of law?
We got the garrison, and they're kind of the law. The mayor, he does have a couple of deputies. Yeah.
Yeah. Cade, you want to go check out that garrison?
When am I not ready to check out a garrison?
Okay.
I don't really know what that means. If you were attempting innuendo, I didn't pick up.
Well, he's been drafting soldiers.
That's true.
For his war.
Cade, what I kind of want to figure out is, have they seen any shady figures? Any, maybe not even necessarily tieflings, but just people walking by farms that are outside of the town.
You mean besides us trying to break into a garrison?
We're not breaking in. We're just going to knock on the door. I just want to talk to them.
Well, you needed me to knock on the door. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I wanted someone to come with me, and I also had other questions to ask you while we're on the road.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so you go knock on the door. What time are you knocking on the door in the middle of the night? You're leaving at 4 in the morning, so you don't have a lot of time
before we go rest. I would like to knock on the door.
Okay.
So around 7:30.
So you knock on the door, and a dragonborn opens the door. What do you want?
Hey, are you a soldier of Malik?
Don't I look like a soldier of Malik?
You are a dragonborn, so I feel like this is a double-edged sword.
What can I do for you?
We're on a particular journey whose contents are a bit of a secret of nature. However, we just kind of wanted to know, are there any farms or workers or anyone of this town that have seen any shady persons walking into the Bacaline Forest?
Nothing unusual has been happening here for a little while. I mean, other than the usual stuff.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Drakes occasionally come out and attack the cattle.
There hasn't been an uptick in those kind of events.
There's been a little uptick all across Melanor over the past, 4 or 5 months. So, but nothing more than
What do you
that.
mean? There's been an uptick across Melanor. Do I need to make like a charisma check to have this conversation?
Make a persuasion.
Is persuasion a skill in 5e?
It is.
Ah, so it is. Yeah, it's not getting me very far. I got a 9.
Yeah, but nothing really special, other than that. There's been just a little more activity, things, but,
But no strange figures walking into the forest wearing like robes and stuff.
What are you expecting?
Oh, just
Spanish
somebody wearing
Inquisition?
robes. Nobody expects.
Nobody
Spanish
expects
Inquisition.
that.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done.
All right. Well, yeah. So, I don't know. You got any other questions? I want to go back to my game of Sabak.
Please go to. Whoa! What's that game?
I don't
Sounds
know.
futuristic, or maybe from a distant past.
Some guy showed up here
Never mind,
recently, and yeah.
Always hold the 2 staves.
Okay, cool. So,
All right. So
didn't get
y'all,
anything from that. It was a waste of time.
yeah, basically.
Sorry.
So y'all take off in the morning. Y'all bought some provisions the night before, so they got you hooked up on those, and y'all start walking along the road. And the road eventually starts getting closer and closer to the forest, or the forest gets closer and closer to the road, depending on how you look at it. And but there's nobody on the road. Basically, you can tell it's not a well-used road, and it's an old road. And you walk along, but they told you the forest was for boating and everything, but it doesn't seem like it. It seems very alive. You hear birds chirping and squirrels running around, elms and oaks. I mean, it looks like a very nice forest. And y'all are just traveling along.
Okay. I start looking for this waterfall on the mountain.
Okay. What's everybody's passive perception?
Passive is not good. 12. I mean, I guess that's not horrible.
16.
16. Okay.
9.
9. 9.
9.
Okay. Morale, you notice as you're walking along that all of a sudden the birds get quiet and the squirrels are not chirping.
Hey guys, the animals aren't making noises.
The forest's too quiet.
Wait. I learned about this in my military training.
Great.
Everything's okay.
Everything is fine.
Something's-
Let's
I take cover under the nearest tree.
Something could be coming.
I'm gonna use my divine sense real quick. I've got 3 of those per day. I'm gonna detect good and evil until the end of my next turn, basically. So for the next 6 to 10 seconds, I can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell, or I can know the location of any celestial fiend or undead that is not behind total cover. So if they're partially covered, I still can sense them.
Okay. And what range?
60 feet.
60 feet. Okay. So you're probably that's just inside the edge of the forest, and you don't detect anything.
Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm not sensing any kind of malevolence here. I think it's just probably this spooky forest.
I don't know. I mean, my mom always told me not to go chasing waterfalls, so.
Well, we're chasing the north side of the waterfall, so it's a little more specific, I think.
You're sure we shouldn't stick to the rivers and the lakes? You know, like we're used to?
Can we see the waterfall from where we're at?
No.
Okay. No, I just kind of want to find this waterfall. Let's keep moving on the road until we find it.
Okay.
I don't think we should stay on the road, guys.
Okay. I'm down for a little off-roading. I learned...
Run
So you-
parallel?
It is a little hilly. Okay. So you could, move. Do you want to get closer to the forest or farther away from the forest?
Eventually, we have to go in the forest, so maybe if we just kind of walk
you
the
travel-
inside line of the trees.
If you walk in the trees, it's going to slow you down tremendously.
They're that close together?
It's a forest, and you're walking on a road. Just walking through a
That's
forest
fair. That's
is
fair.
going to slow you down.
Can we
Yeah.
walk like at the tree line, but in front of it, not in the tree line,
Sure.
Okay.
so
Okay,
that
so
we
you-
have quick access to go into the trees should we need to?
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So y'all are gonna basically, here, you're walking along the forest. So we'll move the road a little farther away. And you're gonna walk basically off the road closer to the forest.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I look fluffier for some reason.
There you go. All right. So, all right. So y'all are walking, and you hear the birds chirping. You know, the
Again?
sound. Yeah.
They've started
yeah,
back up?
Yeah, they were quiet for a little bit, and you're aware. You know, if you
If
ever
we-
want to make active perception checks, you just have to tell me.
Well, that's as soon as I hear the birds start back up, that's going to set me off. I want to go back 10 feet and see if I still hear them.
Okay. Yep. You still hear him.
Okay. That's weird.
You don't the birds. You don't think that you're getting closer to the forest had anything to do with the chirping and the birds.
No, now I don't think that
it
anymore.
It was not like an action and a response type of thing.
Yeah, but something made the birds quiet down. And so whatever that is was close to us, and now it's not. So whatever that is moving. I think I need to make an intelligence check. I'm not great at intelligence in this game, but Percy is.
So what are you? And you're going to roll an intelligence for what?
Well, I don't know that I actually need to, but in my mind, like, the birds stopped, and then they started, and then when I went back, they were still going. So whatever it was that made them stop is moving in some fashion.
Okay. Anything to do with that kind of thing would be a survival check.
Excellent. I'm good at that, actually.
Okay.
Ish.
So, like I
Good
said,
ish.
anytime y'all want to roll perception or survival, just tell me what you're trying to discern.
Yeah,
And
I got a 15.
You got a 15. Okay. Your survival check says, obviously, when predators are around, the small prey creatures tend to hide and shut up.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Can I roll another survival or perception or investigation to see if I see signs of said predator?
If you wish to go into the forest.
Yeah, I'll go right inside, not very far.
Okay.
Which roll do you want me to roll?
That would be a survival to see signs.
16.
16. You don't pick up any signs.
Okay, so I come back out and say, I think there was some kind of predator nearby, but it wasn't close enough to the edge of the forest to raise alarm.
Let's just hope it stays far enough.
Well, we got our own predator, and I point at Pan right there, if it does. And I do mean like a bear, not a like,
No,
predator of a sultry nature.
Oh no! Of course. I went "Rawr, bear. Come on, man.
I'm telling your mom about that comment.
I'm sure she's watching.
She probably is. Okay. So, all right. So y'all continue on down, but you're staying close to the forest.
Yeah, on the line, not in it, but close.
Okay. And y'all travel, and every once in a while, all of a sudden you can tell that the birds get quiet again. And when you're walking close to the forest, the birds get quiet because of your being close to the forest.
Okay.
So as you walk along, you can hear as you get closer to them, and then as you move farther away, they start, so basically you have become the predator.
Fair.
I begin singing Disney songs so they feel unthreatened.
The bare necessities, the simple.
I was
bare
thinking more like the
necessities.
Snow White deal, but
Oh!
We start calling out.
Cade commits
We'll join
Harry
in, you
Carey.
See the birds just come out and land on my fingers,
That's L5R.
Cade coup de grace himself.
that's called seppuku, also an L5R.
Yes. Okay, so y'all basically, are you going to keep on your little march close to the forest? And you are slowed down a little bit being close to the forest,
That's
off
fine.
the road. Not as much as if you walk through the forest, but you are slowed down. So eventually you are traveling along, and you see that kind of, the road's going along, and all of a sudden you can see that was hidden a little bit because of the way the mountain range runs. You all of a sudden can see that little streak of blue coming down the mountain, and it's getting to be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm a lot more alarmed at this mountain, by the way. I like when you were describing it to us initially, you said it was an ancient keep of Valar. My brain was still thinking Tolkien Valar when you said that. Now I'm reading back on my notes and I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
This
What?
Valar is not very positive.
This isn't on your Airbnb? You didn't make a reservation for this?
No, so I guess now that we can see the fall, how late is it in the day? Is it time for camp? Is it?
It's about 2-3 o'clock, and you think, judging, because of your ranger skill, your ranging skills and stuff, you think because you have to get due north, and judging from the sun and everything else, you think it's probably going to be about another hour or so before you get to due north of the road.
An hour?
Probably. You see the mountain,
That's
but
not-
you still he told you need to be due north that the road headed due north to the old road.
Okay, so we need to go down the road another hour before we're. Okay, perfect, cool.
Okay.
So I guess we do that, and it's what 3-4 o'clock by the time we get there.
That's about right. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm not particularly scared of a forest. I've spent my entire life with my wife ranging these forests, and Pan, I believe you probably have a similar experience. But
Yep.
if you all are more comfortable camping and doing this in the daylight, then we should find a high hill and set up camp. But
Okay.
if you're also comfortable wandering a forest when it gets dark, then we can proceed as instructed toward this keep. But I believe that it's at this point that the danger begins.
Agreed.
The danger begins when you get out of bed in the morning.
Well, that's, I mean, my middle name is Danger, so.
If you wish to, you can go into the hills a little bit, back this direction.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear from
north.
them. Like, do y'all want to go ahead and go in, or you want to wait until morning?
I think I personally would rather wait till morning to
I mean,
go
I can
in.
see in the dark, morning, night, whatever.
Right, but dark vision only goes so far.
Sure. Well, in a forest, your vision in the daylight only goes so far.
Exactly. I don't know, I say we wait till the morning.
I'm good with waiting till the morning.
All right. Then let us wait until the morning.
So you're going to set up camp. Are you going to do anything? I mean, are you going to do scouting? You're just going to go sit and kick back and drink vodka?
I will. I'm gonna take my trance rest here on top of the hill while everybody else scouts, so that I can kind of do the full night watch. Because I think
Yeah.
I'm the only.
You still have
I'm an
have
elf. I have
about
the
3-4
same thing.
hours.
Oh, you're also an elf. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Then never mind. We'll Pan and I will shoulder that responsibility. I think.
Yeah, we switch off.
Okay. So what are y'all going to scout?
I would like to make sure that there's no signs of dangerous predators on the
Yeah.
edge of the forest near where we are.
Okay. Are you
Right.
gonna... Now you don't know that the necessarily because you don't even know that you found the road yet. You're just traveling along. You basically just know you're due north.
Right. That's what we said. North.
So do you
want to
try to find the road?
Yeah, sure,
Um,
sure. I'll perceive it, or survive or whatever it takes to see if I can find the road.
Okay. So how are you gonna go into the forest? Are you gonna go to the edge of the forest?
Yeah, I'll spend.
how
I'll
are you-
spend. I mean, it's 4 o'clock now,
Right.
and we have a good 4 hours until sunset. 3 to 4 hours. So
Yeah.
I'll spend that time scouting to see what I can find,
Okay. And
and
Okay.
whether
so-
that's in the forest, out of the forest, whatever.
Yeah.
3 hours is all I'm giving to it.
Cade's gonna go with him.
okay.
Okay.
All right. What is everybody else doing?
I guess we're setting up camp, yeah? Prepping
Okay.
camp.
All right. So Cade and Nevi are moving. So You move around the edge of the forest. Are you going into the forest?
Yeah, I mean, whatever we need to do to find whatever road there is.
You know,
Roll me a
about,
survival.
probably about 50 yards in, but Cade's like using it to kind of duck between cover here and there and kind of looking around, just really trying to get a good scope of what's going on, given that, that we'd had intermittent periods where the animals stopped all sounds.
Okay.
So he's looking. He is actively looking, even though he's kind of, maybe scooting from a tree to tree and then just kind of holding for a second. He's being real sketchy.
Roll me a perception.
And you want me to roll survival, you said?
Yes.
17.
17.
5.
5. Okay. All right. So, on your 17 perception, you feel like you are being watched. But you can't see what's watching you.
And that's going to make Cade even more and more and more, almost, if you want to call it, paranoid. He's now slowing down even more,
Yeah,
trying to
Eddie, are you
really take up, positions behind trees and watching back
You are?
behind him and the whole 9 yards.
Kate, are you all right? There's kind of no reason for that kind of caution.
There's something here. I can't see it.
What do you mean?
You ever had that feeling like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up?
Sure.
Take that and multiply it by 1,000.
It's a feeling you felt before, yeah?
Usually just before something goes really sideways.
I'll kind of take cover behind where he is at the time.
Okay.
You
You want to make a perception?
Sure. That's a way better roll. 20.
20. You. Okay.
And during that conversation,
You also feel like you're being watched.
Cade ignites his blade. Just during that conversation.
That blade is kind of what I'm talking about. You've had an encounter with a kind of entity before, haven't you?
Of course. Yes, I have.
Something that is related to the shadow.
No. It's not the shadow.
What was it?
You know this mission that I'm on right now?
Yeah.
I gotta recruit a
Gathering
bunch of
troops.
people.
Yeah.
It's because I was the only survivor of a battle that happened in my hometown of Yatar. And I was overwhelmed, and the god Helm, at least I think it was Helm, he came and offered a way for me to save myself. And he gave me these powers that I still don't understand.
Okay.
And ever since we've been here, they've just been getting weaker and weaker.
Interesting. Okay. Because I'm feeling this feeling too, I pull out my shield and get it ready.
Okay. All right. So y'all are standing in the forest, having a nice little conversation about days gone by, with your sword on edge, standing up, and your shield is out.
I scream out, I just kind of yell out, hello.
Roll me a perception.
Should I roll 2?
Yeah.
Perception.
17.
16.
16. You don't see what it was, but you see a shrub just quiver slightly, probably about 40 feet away.
40 feet?
Yeah.
Shadow blade throw.
Okay.
All right.
So make an attack roll.
And that's going to be a plus my charisma 20.
20. Okay. So it thunks into a tree
Okay.
and then comes back to you.
Cade,
Okay.
Cade's gonna very cautiously, head on over to that spot. And he's gonna take a look and see if he can find tracks.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
And while he's doing that on his way over, do you think we ought to call the ladies?
Let's not disturb them unless we're disturbed.
14.
This may be a silent watcher.
A 14.
14.
Okay. You don't find any tracks.
Can I roll survival as well?
Sure.
The old man did say that this was Fae,
Could be a
right?
17.
That this could be
17?
Fae, right?
You find a broken twig. Okay. So you don't. You say something was here.
Something was here. This was definitely not a wind anomaly. I think we should head back to camp. We'll find this road in the morning.
Should we name the wind anomaly the Dutch oven?
We should.
All right.
You also find while you're moving back to camp, you find some evidence too off of this little spot that it looks like you found the road. And one of the things that seems unusual is that now you find a lot of broken tracks. You find wagon tracks. You find
But
humanoid
nobody uses
tracks.
this road.
How much are you going to explore the road?
Not much at this time of night. I imagine this is getting pretty close to our scouting mission.
Okay.
So we'll explore
All
it in
right.
the morning.
And as you go out, you can tell as you're exiting the forest where the road begins, it
Okay.
looks like somebody has deliberately put things in front of the road to block the
Okay.
view of.
I make sure to make note of that.
Okay.
And Cade's gonna take a couple of sticks that are just probably sitting there, and he's gonna make like a little X cross that sits right down in front of it on the ground.
Okay. All right. So y'all head back to the ladies.
Huh?
All right. Okay, and they've made a nice little camp. Morale is basically already asleep, curled up, and she found a nice little spot by a bush with some leaves and things that are very comfortable, and she's kind of pushed them all together to make a little bed, and she's curled up.
And Cade looks
now-
over at Nevi and says, "Maybe we should say anything till the morning."
Yeah. We'll just let them know we found the road. And I'll talk to Pan when we get back to camp, and we'll set up our watch order,
Yeah.
whatever that
Find
may be.
anything?
And then we found the road, but
Oh, good.
nothing else of note.
Good.
So, during the night, what is y'all's watch order?
I'll go first, and Pan can go second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So the two of y'all are going to watch, and the other of y'all sleep. All right.
Yeah.
Cade
During
will
the night,
Cade will
Go ahead.
get up during Pan's at some point during Pan's watch, because he specifically said let's not tell the ladies. So he wants to be awake just in case something goes down.
okay. And during the course of the night, Morale, you're woken up, and you feel something stirring in your next to you. I think are you muted?
Yep.
There you go. Okay, and you find something, and Quinley seems to be stretching.
Are you okay, baby?
Well, I do declare I feel kind of rested. I had a bad dream though, like I was being ripped apart. Where are we?
Well, we're right next to the, what's it called again?
Jacqueline.
Backlean Forest.
Well, where's that? Why are we there?
We were sent there by Semaphore. Is it
Oh,
Semaphore?
I don't know who that is, but oh, how long have I been asleep?
Quite a while.
Really? Really? Everybody okay? Everything good?
So far, so good.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I feel fine. I feel fine. And she kind of stretches and starts digging her claws into the into the bark of one of the shrubs, and just, I mean, literally ripping. I mean, her claws just like butter go right through that, you know. And she's like, "Yeah, I feel fine. I feel good, man. Whew. Yeah. It's amazing what a little rest will do for you. I was feeling real peaked before, you know. I just like something's pulling me, and I don't feel that right now. That's good.
Hmm. Very
You know,
good.
I wish. I feel like I want to eat, but I'm not hungry, and I just feel that's unusual for me. Usually, I always like to eat. I don't like that.
That's odd.
No, it don't feel right. You know, it just don't feel right.
Maybe if you eat something, it'll make you feel better.
What you got?
I've got some dried fish. I'll pull out some of my dried fish.
Dried fish.
Where there's a forest, you could go hunting in.
Now that sounds like fun. Oh, definitely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I need to stretch my legs a little bit.
I
You
will
know.
tell you this forest is untamed. It's a wild forest, and there's some bad necrotic stuff going on here. At least that's
Oh.
the rumors.
Really?
Hmm.
You think so, huh? Well, they ain't seen me yet. They better be worried about myself, if you know what I mean there, Sugar Pie. I think I will kind of mosey on out there, and oh, I see all your friends are still with us too. Well, that's nice. Y'all make a nice, nice little family here, you know. But I'm just gonna circle around. I'm not gonna tell them where I'm going. And all of a sudden, she kind of disappears into the shrubs, and you can see her go into stealth mode,
Hmm.
and she's not being stealthy at all. You know, so y'all see Quinley is up, and any of you that are awake at this point, and we'll say it's the second half, so it would be Pan and Cade that are awake. And you can see Quinley is moving off and moving towards the forest.
Okay.
Okay. And so she's gone, and you can still pick up her. You can mentally feel her, Mrau,
Hmm.
until she gets, you know, far enough away. She gets a. You can tell her range, I guess, is probably around 120 feet, in thereabouts, and you know, she's getting into the forest, and then all of a sudden you lose telepathic connection with her.
Okay.
So a little while later, y'all.
Cade's very, very focused on the spot where she went into the forest, because, again, he's not. He's playing it off as like it's insomnia or something like that, but he's very, very concerned about the entering and exiting of that forest right now.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
17.
17. You can see that she climbs up in a tree, and she's basically just, you know, climbing, and she, you know, just digging her claws in, climbing up the tree, you know, stretching herself. She's jumping around from tree to tree, and doesn't seem to really have a care in the world. A few minutes later, she disappears into the shrubs, and she's very visible to you. Okay, and a little, in fact, almost that. She rolled 2 ones on her stealth. I can't believe you could roll back-to-back ones. But... So she thinks she's being sneaky. She's not. And a few minutes later, she comes wandering out, and she's got a bird in her mouth. And she's kind of like strutting her stuff out of the forest and coming back. And she kind of slinks, attempts to stealth around again. Oh, she did much better that time. She rolled a 3. So she tries to stealth around back to where Morale is, and she drops the bird at Morale's feet and says, "Well, I did find this."
Enjoy. Well done.
Well, I tried, but it just doesn't seem tasty to me. I mean, I don't think I feel like I almost lost my sense of taste. What a horrible thing to lose. I can't enjoy fresh caught fish. Man, I have memories. I can remember I really enjoyed these things. The taste of tea.
When she's in this form, is she still crystal? Or
Yes.
Is she... Okay.
Yeah, she's crystal, but it's an incredibly lifelike crystal. I mean, she looks like a cat, except there's a little crystalline sheen, to her, a little sparkle. But when you pet her, it's just like fur, But you can tell that she's very solid. Okay, I mean, incredibly solid. Like when you're pushing in on her, you feel muscles, but it's not like a belly of a cat. You can kind of push in a little bit. You can't. There's none of that. So you can tell that it's different than a real animal, but she looks just like a real animal, and she feels it's very smooth, and the fur moves. Like what?
The couches?
Sort of, yes. Yes. Very fluid and very interactive. And she's not warm to the touch either. Okay? It's very neutral. Like when you put your hand on something like steel or something and you can feel it almost feels cold, but you realize that's just because you're warmer than it is.
Right.
It's very much like that. And she said, "Well, I did bring you this bird if you'd like it. It's for you. Thank you."
I won't let it go to waste if you don't want it.
No, I want it, but I can't taste it. What's the point?
Well, you need sustenance.
I don't know if I do.
Oh.
I really don't know if I do. And what a thing to lose food.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
brutal.
yeah, that's terrible.
It's messed
Who would
up.
do such a thing?
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to talk. Whoever did this to me, I'm not happy. I'll tell you right now, I'm not happy about that at all.
Do you remember what happened to you?
I don't remember. I remember every now and then I get patches of memory. I know that there was someone close to me, and I was happy, and I feel like I had just the perfect life. Like I had people waiting on me, and I'm not a princess, but I mean just not really having to do anything, and everything was done for me. And oh my gosh, that was the life. But I just can't quite put my finger on it. It's like it's right there on the edge, and I just can't seem to grab it. It makes me so damn mad. I'm that, and I can't taste anything. You don't think I got the coronavirus, do you?
No, then you just have problems breathing.
Oh, I say, I don't even know if I need to breathe, to be honest. Well, so what are we doing now? We're doing here at this forest?
We're at this forest. We're going to go in tomorrow.
Oh, well, it seems like a right nice little forest there, I mean, well, I did pick up something when I was in there. I don't know. I felt like I was being watched or something. And I started moving at it, but it disappeared. I was pretty sure I knew where it was, but it disappeared. I don't know where it is.
No idea what it was?
I don't have any idea what it was. No, I don't. I really don't. I could possibly go in there and look again, but if we're going to go in the morning, I'll just go with y'all.
Okay. I'll roll over and see whoever's still awake, and I'll let them know that she felt that somebody was watching us, or her at least.
Do we?
Okay.
I mean, I'm trancing. Do we see the cat, and can we hear it?
Well, she's telepathically communicating with the cat.
Okay, so we cannot hear
So you can't hear any of that. You might hear meow.
it.
Okay. But that's all that you would hear. And but you do, you do see her.
When Morale says that, Cade does his best not to react to it. Just like, oh, well, I mean, that's just kind of like being in the woods at night anyway, right? And he's trying to, subdue the whole topic, and it's like, I gotta go hit up the little halfling's room.
That's a
Halfling's room.
double.
The little halfling's room.
I see. That's right. I make little Dutch ovens. All right, so
Cade is gonna sneak
All
off.
halflings use the same room. What is this, Starbucks?
Maybe. So Cade's gonna sneak off back over to where he marked the trail,
okay.
and he's gonna kind of poke his head back in those woods, and he is specifically looking again. He's sneaking, mind you, but he is specifically looking again for whatever was watching.
Roll me a stealth and roll me a perception.
Alright, so stealth check is going to be a 26.
Nice.
All right. Good time to have it.
Perception. He doesn't see shit.
Huh?
How do I know this? Because I rolled a 2.
All right. So
You almost hit too well.
the party sees you disappear. Okay. So they can't see you. They don't know where you're at, and you don't see anybody or anything.
He's just going to hold up there for a while. Just kind of like a hunter would, just waiting.
Okay. And pretty much that's about the size of it.
Alright, so about 20 or 30, 30 minutes later,
Actually,
go ahead.
right when you're getting ready to leave, as you're moving, you can sense something moved in the woods, but you don't see it.
He's going to go right back to the camp
Okay.
again at this point. And he's going to go actually wake Nevi up.
Well, that was a nice little nap. What's up, Cade?
Everything okay?
Okay, so I went back and checked again, and I got
Okay.
that same feeling again.
Okay.
And Morale just said that her little crystal cat came back and said it felt the same thing. Something was watching us.
Well, we
Ah.
kind of had the assumption, right, that if there's malevolent things in the depths of this forest, there's probably something out here communicating with them.
Look, I hid as best as I could just to sit there and wait and see what would come by, and nothing came by.
Yeah. Do you think it still saw you?
I'd bet it still saw me.
Well, then the faster we get to this keep, the better, huh?
I think we need to get going, and we need to get going soon, because right now we're just sitting ducks.
How long did I get to rest, Rick?
We'll say it's 4 hours. We'll give you your
Okay.
rest. We'll,
Okay.
Everybody's up to full speed.
Then I suggest we pack up camp quickly and get going now.
So it would be about 4 in the morning. So I guess it's you're gonna eat. I figure it'll take about an hour. So it's
We'll eat on the road, man. We got rations.
well, the road is the forest.
Right, but like whatever, a
But
block of cheese or whatever we can
Okay, but
eat while
still,
we walk.
nonetheless, if you're eating while you walk, that is distracting, and that will
Sure.
affect your perceptions. So okay. So all right. So y'all heading. So y'all walk down to the sticks, and you find the sticks. Okay. Morale and Pan, roll me a survival check.
Uh, 20. Not
20?
a natural 20, but a 20.
Okay. 18. Okay, y'all see Cade sticks, and as you move into the forest from them, you can see that there's tracks and that there's parts of the road have been cleared. You actually, if both Cade and Nevi, if you want to roll survival checks too, but Pan, you notice
It is a nat 20.
that it's a nat 20. Okay,
So 22 in total.
all right. So as you move into the forest, you can see that there are large humanoid footprints. A wagon came through here, pulled by a horse. That there are actually a couple of wagons. That there has been a number of traffic, and that the outside of the forest was all was basically cut into and then made to look like, just naturally, piling branches, things up there to hide the road. You can see that there's still flagstones and things that apparently this was a road at one time, like a real road. And but it's mostly buried by forest and overgrown. But that even you see at one point, you see a tree was literally ripped out of the ground and cast aside.
Ooh.
Something of great strength.
Giants.
And
Yeah.
possibly very large humanoid footprints. And Nevi, you see with your perception. Oh, you rolled a 20 on survival. Okay, so y'all are moving into the forest, and you're following the trail's very easy to follow at this point because it's been cleared recently. And y'all are moving into the forest.
Cade is very, very cautious, and I'm not talking about hiding. I'm talking he is staring intently into the foliage, trying to just pick out anything that shouldn't be there.
Okay, roll me a perception. Y'all guys, I think something is moving. I saw something move in the
19.
forest. A 19. Cade,
Hey guys,
you make
see something moving in the forest.
so.
And it's a beholder, and it makes eye contact with it.
Yep. All right. So y'all are entering, and you can see the trail winding off,
Well, goodbye, Cade.
and y'all are moving into the forest.
Rick rolls an 8, which I believe is a disintegration beam.
And you see.
Damn it, Percy!
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. You see a large reptilian. Everybody else, roll me a perception.
Huh? 12.
12.
We can keep my dice on my desk. 19.
19. All right. Pan, you see one too. What?
24.
24. Okay.
Nevi's
Wow.
like, what?
Yeah. Morale. Two large, they almost come out of nowhere. And they move up on you. They're very large reptilian creatures. It's a scaled beast. It's moving on all fours. Looks dragon-like, but there's no wings. And they move up, and they're literally, you can see their skin almost ripples like a chameleon. Okay? Changing color, blending in with the terrain.
Okay, I relay this information to the people as I see it.
He's brown, he's
And-
green, he's brown.
Are you guys seeing this?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And one of them opens its mouth, and you
Jeez.
you can see basically red light starting to emit from his maw, and you can see he's opened his mouth, and you notice that fire is forming inside of his mouth, and seems to be breathing out towards you. The fire starts leaving his mouth, coming in your direction, and I think yes.
Yes. I think this is that very, very moment where Cade is going to... hold on 1 second here.
I shall stop, drop, and roll.
Do you see what I see?
I do.
I don't like that.
Cade immediately starts muttering to himself and casts shield on himself.
Okay. And I think this is a good place to call it a night.
All right. So Cade shielded, Nevi's oblivious.
Yep. At this point, Nevi would have picked up on this too. You don't need a perception.
Drew your attention to it. You probably see the glow at the very.
Jeez.
So we'll treat it like a group check. I gotcha.
So,
He
we'll start out.
He
the
homers
next
this
time-
out. Just starts eating
Yeah.
his cheese.
Ooh, could you melt this for me, please? And so we'll start next time with initiative.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks
And
for joining
welcome.
us today.
Yeah, welcome to the Bacalene Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you did on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook Live. If you don't like us on any of those platforms and you are currently watching, go like all those platforms. We'd very much enjoy to have you. And until next time, y'all, keep on adventuring.
Have a good one.
Adios.